Hello everyone and welcome to today's CBAA webinar, your guide to entering the 2021 CBAA Community Radio Awards. From the CBAA, they're on camera at the moment. Hi, my name's Danny Chipley. Thank you so much for joining me here. I probably won't have the camera on for too much today because it does look like I'm coming to you live from Harry Potter's bedroom. But besides that, I'm very happy to be here with you. Before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge that we're broadcasting today's webinar to you from Gadigal land, and as such, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land upon which we meet, that are the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. We acknowledge elders past and present, and of course, always acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded. So let's get started. Your guide to entering the 2021 CBAA Community Radio Awards. As stated, my name is Danny Chipley. I'm the CBAA's Member Support Officer. I will put into the chat box there my email address, just in case anyone needs to get in touch with me about anything to do with awards or anything else to do with the CBAA. That email address is danny.chipley@cbaa.org.au. That's danny.chipley@cbaa.org.au. What we'll be looking at today in the webinar is how to use the CBAA Awards entry platform, responding to the selection criteria, collating your supporting documentation, and understanding the terms and conditions. And I dare say we probably will work backwards from all of that because knowing the terms and conditions is probably the best way to start all of this. Now, I'll stop my video there now for the benefit of all of us, and I'm going to start sharing with you what it looks like once you've logged in to the CBAA Award platform. Sharing that there now. Now, I will grab the URL there for the platform and just tuck it into the chat box again, just so you've got it there. cbaa.awardsplatform.com. Everything you need to do to enter is there. The page that you're looking at now is the page that you'll see once you've registered for the awards. I'll go through the terms and conditions first and give you the opportunity to click on that link and to register yourself, because you might sort of want to go through everything here live as we do it as part of the webinar. So once you're logged in, if you go to the About page, you'll see the Community Radio Awards Terms and Conditions page. All of this is really important, and we of course ask everyone to read the terms and conditions before doing so. Let's go through some important dates first. All entries must be received by 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time on Sunday, 15th of August 2021. Another important date to look at is all entries must be focused on broadcast or other station or individual activity occurring between 1st of May 2020 and 30th of April 2021. That might seem like some fairly weird and arbitrary dates. Yeah, those are just the dates that we have established for the field of entries for the CBAA Awards. That's what we have every year, and that's what we will continue to have every year to ensure that we're able to gain the maximum amount of work there from our wonderful community radio broadcasters. Above that, of course, it says all entries must be submitted via the online awards entry system. It is a very, very easy way to do it, and much easier than burning off CDs and printing off documentation to send in. This is an important point here, this next one, point 6, which is often brought up every year here as part of the awards. Winners and finalists from previous years are ineligible from entering the same work in the same category. So what that means is it doesn't necessarily mean you can't enter something in the same category that you might have entered and been a finalist or a winner in a previous year. It just means that the work for that category has to be different. How that works will very much depend on what the category is. Obviously, stuff like Best New Radio Program, you're probably only going to be a new radio program for 1 year, so you can't enter that if you're into that category. Say you entered the station fundraising category. What you would need to do is you would need to enter a fundraising campaign or initiative that differed from what you entered in the previous year. You sort of can't put in the same work there. Hopefully that makes sense. Obviously, as stated, all of that will depend on the nature of that category. Any questions there in regards to that, please feel free to let us know, and indeed any questions that you might have. throughout today's webinar. I would invite you to put them into the chat box. I will answer them upon seeing them. Entries are open to organisations that are either permanent or temporary CBAA members. If you've got any questions about the membership status of your station, you can send us an email and find out more. A maximum of 1 entry per category per member station will be accepted. And while I talk about that point, I will relate that to another point that is in here, in that the entries for this, you need to have the station to endorse your entries part of this. This will be a point that is there. So whenever you conclude your entry for an award, the last box that you need to tick is that you've got permission from the station manager or a board member or someone else who's in a position of authority to enter that award. That's because there's multiple volunteers at stations. Anyone can gain access to the awards entries platform. But obviously, because you've only got 1 entry per category per member station, you need to coordinate there on a station level to make sure that everyone is getting a fair go and you're putting the strongest possible entry into that category. Entrants may enter that same work in more than 1 category if it fits the category, or if it fits the criteria rather, for each category, but a separate entry must be completed for each category. When we jump into the award system, there is ways, if you do want to enter your work in more than 1 category, you can copy a lot of your submission over to be used in a different category, but there will be some things that you'll need to enter that'll be specific to that category's entry. That might not make sense to you hearing that now. It'll make sense when I show it to you. Trust me on that one. Audio components need to be sent to us as MP3, M4A or MPEG-4. If you're having any problems converting your audio to those various file names, don't worry about that. There's probably audio editing software on hand at your station that you can use, and there's also ways of being able to do that via online systems. If supporting documentation or audio is required and not provided by the Awards 4 system, the relevant entry or entries may not be considered for judging. Luckily, the Awards 4 system allows you to upload a plethora of material. So there shouldn't be any problem there with you uploading stuff. But obviously, if we're asking for something, you will need to put that on there. All supporting material must be clearly labelled. All entries may be reproduced to promote the awards and to champion the excellent work of the community broadcasting sector. Hopefully everyone is cool with that. If entrants do not own all copyright, there are restrictions in your right to use. It is the entrant's responsibility to obtain permission from all relevant third parties. The CBAA will, of course, work with entrants on that if we're going to use your work to promote the awards. Where misleading information is supplied within entries, the CBAA reserves the right to disqualify such entries. That won't happen very often. That's just in there to make sure that it never happens. By participating, entrants accept that the CBAA may run these awards as it sees fit with that right of appeal. All entries related to programs must upload a 50-second bite from the program, and I'll show you that when we get on into the platform. Some case studies may be made available for download from the CBAA website. Awards, judges' decisions are final. Well, we're happy to talk to people about their awards and whatnot, but basically our awards judges, of which there are many, we are trusting them to do the best possible thing there in regards to this award. Awards winners may be asked to make themselves available for other CBAA activities outside the awards ceremony. Last year, that was awards winners made themselves available to take part in Zoom interviews with me, because we didn't get to have the awards because of the state of the world. I'd like to think that was a fun activity for all. I certainly had a good time. The CBAA may extend any deadline or time limit. Looking at previous years, don't bet on it. Just because we've extended the deadline in previous years doesn't mean we're going to do it this year. But if we do decide to do it, well, we're well within our rights to do so. Sandy Kay's sent in a quick question there via the chat. Danny, what if my radio show goes out to a number of stations? And apologies to this person who's calling now. Let's just see if they're calling about the webinar. Hello, CBAA, Danny speaking. Hello, CBAA, Danny speaking. Hello, CBAA, Danny speaking. I'm good, thank you. How are you? Hey, can I just stop you there for a second? I'm just conducting a webinar at the moment, and there's people looking at you and I having this phone conversation. Can you give me your name and number and I'll get back to you? And your number is? Yep, yep. Was that last three? What was those last three digits? Sorry. 391. No worries. Sorry, everyone in the webinar now, how's your last three digits? I'll leave it up to them to guess the other seven. I'll give you a call back as soon as I can. Bye now. Don't you love working remotely? I'll turn that camera off again. Harry Potter's bedroom. Made that joke already. Sandy asks, what if my radio show goes out to a number of stations? Sandy, I'm assuming that is because your program is one that is on the Community Radio Network. I would suggest using the station that you produce the program at as the home station from which to enter that award. Sandy says she produces from home. Well, in that case, I'll have a chat to you, Sandy, about that. You would definitely still be eligible to enter your work into the CBAA Awards, but I'll have to have a chat with my superiors, of which there are many, to determine which is the best station to give that to. All right, now, has everyone had a chance to log in to the awards platform? Hopefully you have. If you have, this is what it will look like. There'll be a little bit of information here about starting your awards and the instructions and so on and so forth. And now you'll see here that I've already started an entry. It's called Danny's New Show, and I'm entering that in the Best New Radio Program category. Now, should you log in and start your entry and you don't have time to finish it, or you need to get your supporting material in order before finishing and whatever else, please feel free to just hit save on it at any point, and you can come back at any time, as long as it's before when the awards entries are due, and you can keep going on that award. Now, if you want to start a new entry, simply hit start entry. Okay, once that page generates here, first point of call is to sort out which category you think is best for you. There's a whole lot going on there, isn't there? How are you going to determine which is the best category for you? Don't worry, your friends here at the CBAA got that sorted out for you. Just go to our award page on the website, cbaa.org.au/awards. Once you're there, you'll see that we have a handy entrance guide here for you to have a look at. Now, this is information that is available via the awards platform, but just bringing it up here, nice for you to have a look at all this sort of stuff. You could be one of those smiling faces there who's the winner of one of our awards. So the descriptions for all the categories are all throughout the booklet. Just go through here. Let's pick one at random. Let's pick one where we've got to upload some audio, shall we? Best Radio Program Talk. This award recognises an outstanding talks or spoken word program. Each entry for this award will be judged on the following criteria. The program is interesting, entertaining and engaging for your community interest. The programming has high quality production values. Program content is informative and well researched. Program content presents a new or different perspective on the selected topic. You might think that sort of suits my category down to the ground. So we'll go in and we'll start the entry for that category. This radio program talks. Entry name, Danny's Talks program. Station name, 2CBAA. And remember, in the station name, we acknowledge that stations have several identifiers for their station. Whatever your public knows you most by, please feel free to put that in there. For your select name for correspondence, you can either put your own name there or someone else from the station. And all of the other information there just to identify yourself. Save and next. Now, if at this point, if you were to decide, oh, I need to go off and do something else and come back, that's fine. When you log back in to the website, you'll see that your entry is in progress, is in here, and you can just jump in where you are and keep going. That first page there that we filled out, the Start Here page, You do need to have that all filled out if you want to move on to the next tabs, which is selection criteria. So you'll see here all of the questions that are being asked in the selection criteria. They reflect what is written there in the guidebook there for the awards. So you'll sort of say, so you'll be able to respond to all of these points here in the criteria. It is one of those things where sort of the information that you provide, we give you sort of 350 words to do so. You don't have to use the whole 350 words. You just have to sort of condense what makes your program, station, individuals, or initiative great and include it as part of that. If the 350 words doesn't encapsulate what you feel makes your program, station, initiative, etc., great, you are able to provide a bit further information, excuse me, in the attachments box. So most of the categories will ask you to respond in a written way to the selection criteria. As this is a category, excuse me, where we're asking about a program, you will need to upload an audio sample. Excuse me again. Easy to do. Just go in, click, water, and the system will do that for you. You do need to let it upload to 100% before you can start moving on to the next things here. Now, for the categories that ask for an audio sample, they will more often than not. Now's a terrible time to be coughing in public. I'm very sorry about that. They will ask you to provide timestamps for up to 2 times 5-minute parts of your program that the judges should focus on. This audio sample can be as long as you want it to be. We've had people sort of enter in an hour's worth of audio, if you will. Probably for a talks program, that's not necessary, but if you had like a half an hour segment of your show where you felt you did a really good interview or a great bit of work, you would put it in there. Considering the awards judges looking at multiple entries, they don't have the time to sort of digest everything that might be in there and might want to focus on specific segments of what you're uploaded. That's why we need you to provide timestamps for up to 2 5-minute programs. Of this hypothetical 30 minutes of audio that I've popped up here, you might sort of think that the best part of it is from the introduction. So you put 000 to 5 minutes, and then perhaps say 13 minutes and 30 seconds in, you do a really great interview. You put that in there. Easy as pie. Up next, this says upload 30-second grab. I need to fix that because it's meant to say upload 15-second grab. That is so we can use this to sort of promote the work that you're doing now. Your grab would be something similar to anything that you might have produced up for a promotional part that the station would be running sort of throughout other programs to let people know about your program. Anything that sort of is a very short way of describing who you are, what you do, and what your program is all about. We're asking, wherever possible, for entrants to provide a high resolution image related to this entry. This will be used as part of award promotional material if the nominated entry is a finalist and a winner in their category. Now, even though it says optional, I would very much encourage you to do so. It is one of those things. The way that social media algorithms work is that you're going to get more traction for anything that you post if you've got an interesting image to accompany it. So not only will uploading an image strengthen your entry, it is also very likely to be one of those things where if it is lucky enough to be promoted via our social media channels, providing a great image will help with the engagement. You do need to provide the identifier of the photographer or the person responsible for that image where necessary. Many stations have promoting their work via social media. So in this one here, you can either put the station's preferred social media or the program's social media, whatever you feel is best. And then here, the supporting documentation and media. This can be anything you want. If you've got video of yourself live in the studio, put that in there. If the local paper has done an article on your entry, chuck that in the attachments. There's also space here for you to put in links. If you're on multiple social media platforms, you can put those in here. If you have a website for your program, or if your program is featured on your station website, just put that in there. So that'll add that there, and you can keep on adding to your heart's content. And then station authorization. This is one of those really important things. It'll ask you to go through the terms and conditions again to make sure that you've done everything. And then you'll need to tick this box here. I have permission to submit this entry from station manager or board president. There's another thing that I need to tick. So you need to put the station manager, president. It doesn't need to be either of those, just someone who is widely acknowledged as being someone who's in a position there at the station to provide this authority. As stated, the reason that we need you to do this is so that the management and board of the station have a handle as to what is being entered on behalf of their station. And even though this is the last step in the entry, my advice to you would be make this the first step of submitting your entry. Have a chat to people there at the station and see what they have to say about you entering that work on behalf of the station. Not only does it give station management a good idea of what's being entered on their behalf, but also make sure that you're not doubling up on those categories, and gives a wonderful opportunity for you to have that chat there with the station as to what you feel might sort of be the best category for your award entry. Now, for the people who are there joining us as participants on Zoom at the moment, if you have any questions, now is the time to put them in the chat box. These can be as specific as you like. Happy to do all of that stuff. Just looking at the comments that on the Facebook at the moment to see if anyone's put anything there. My colleague Andrew Morris, for some reason, has commented a cave. I have no idea why he would do that. Entering that as part of the awards. Michael, your question's coming through, so please just pop that one in there and I will go through it. Hopefully that all made sense there about that award. I will go through into another few different entry categories there. That the Best New Radio program is very similar to how it's set out for a lot of categories, but we'll go into some where there's not necessarily audio work there as part of this. An example of that would be the best online content category. And you do need to sort of fill all of this stuff in so you can go on to the next tab. But a lot of this will autofill for you if your web browser allows you to do so. Okay, now as with the previous entry that we looked at, the criteria provides you with the opportunity to respond in writing to all of the different selection criteria. The upload audio sample section is optional because the online content thing might not necessarily be something where there is an audio component. The supporting documentation and media for this category, I would argue, is the most important thing. Because for an online initiative, obviously a lot of what is happening as part of that award is online. Michael McDougall asks the question, for the best new audio program, do you just choose one episode or can you enter for the entire show series yourself? Okay, so let's go into an entry for that. Danny's new show. This is one of those things where it will be very much up to you and the audio editing software you have at your disposal. Obviously, you don't want to flood the judges with too much content. What you would want to do is you would want to, if you wanted to provide sort of bits of your program, you could sort of edit up a highlight reel of what you're doing and add that as part of the either the supporting documentation and media, or down here in the upload your audio sample part of it. Obviously, it says here provide timestamps for only 2 to the 5 minute parts of your program. But in any of the supporting material, you can sort of say of the entry that I put in, I think this bit's great, and it happened this time. I think this bit of the show is great, and it happens then. It's not so much you have to choose one episode. You have to choose one bit of audio to upload. So you might like to create a bit of audio that covers multiple episodes of your radio program. All of the other criteria do apply to that. So all of the bits of audio that you would stitch together as part of your highlight reel, they would all need to have been aired between 1st of May 2020 and 30th of April 2021. Alona asks, and I hope I've pronounced your name correctly, we run a podcast production program for youth. I am thinking of entering the outstanding youth category. Would best radio program talks fit also? Yes, it would. And no, it is not a silly question. That's actually a really good question and provides me with a wonderful example of something that fits in with what was in the terms and conditions that we discussed there at the start of the program. Entrants may enter the same work in more than one category if it fits the criteria for each category. A separate entry must be completed for each category. That provides a really wonderful example, and it also gives me an opportunity to show you what you can do with the awards platform here. I'll say for a second, pronouncing that name incorrectly. I'll go into my entries. I think you said talks program as your example, didn't you? I think my talks program would also, or my entry for the talk program would also make a wonderful entry for category. So I need to, not on that page, that's not where I need to do it. What I need to do is click the checkbox here next to it, hit copy. That will the instant copy process has started. Sorry, this will take a second for it to copy all of that information over. There we are, done now. So this is the copy version here. So you go into that, and what you would do first of all is generates is you would change the entry name for it. You've done that. Go up to here in the categories and select the youth contribution. There we go. And then you can keep on going with that entry. Now, what will happen is if I had filled out all of this stuff in my entry there for my audio, for my Best New Radio program example, a lot of that would have disappeared from here. The overview part will have stayed the same because presumably the overview wouldn't change that much. But because this is asking different questions, all of this would be blank. And so you would need to sort of start filling that in. But other stuff would sort of still be there, say the website and everything that's in there. So if you do sort of want to enter the work in multiple categories, you can do so via that. Now you'll note here in the criteria there for the new program example, here at the bottom of the criteria page, it asked me to enter some audio, to upload some audio rather. That bit has disappeared because for the youth contribution category, it's not necessarily one where you would rely on audio. However, if you did want to include some audio there as part of that category, you can do so here in the add attachments. Is that making sense? If someone wants to put a thumbs up in the chat box for that, hopefully that will be done. Yep, we're assuming that is making sense. Now, questions again. Anyone got any questions coming here? I've got a question for everyone who's out there in the audience. Has everyone had the opportunity to go in and register for the awards? Because obviously, sort of, I would encourage you to be doing so as we go through everything here. Alana says thank you for that. Hopefully, you've had the chance to do so. Thumbs up from Lyndon. That's wow, 99.9. I hope I'm saying, I noticed you've gone through a new name change there. It's like, I'm saying that one correctly. Any other queries that people might have? Assuming that, seeing as I'm not getting anything there through the chat, that hopefully I have answered everything. I did sort of hope to be able to complete today's webinar in half an hour. Okay, then we do have a question that has come through on the Facebook. What are the prizes from Red? Now, the prizes for the most part are trophies. There are a couple of categories there that do have a few extra things. The information for that will be made available as we get a bit closer there to the awards. But a lot of it is sort of stuff like you get a wonderful trophy, and basically you just get to sort of acknowledge how great your radio program is. So sorry, Red, there's no cash prizes or anything like that. I think if we were to do something like that, it would mean that we've sort of got to ask people. There are a lot of these sort of award programs where you have to pay to enter. You do not have to pay to enter the CBAA Awards. You just need to be able to say yes to all of those terms and conditions that you're seeing on your screen. Right now, Red, if you're still listening to this via social media, via the CBAA's Facebook, please, if you want to acknowledge that, that'd be great. Lyndon asks, providing what is happening with COVID, what state will the awards ceremony be held in? I'm happy to say that all things being even, and here I certainly hope that is going to be the case, that we are very excited to announce that at the end of 2021, we'll be reuniting sector stalwarts and new faces in our first face-to-face conference since 2019 in sunny Cairns. Put it in your diary, 2nd to the 4th of December 2021. Please do keep an eye on emails from the CBAA for up-to-date information about our 2021 conference. I really hope that we will all be, wherever possible, we'll be seeing each other in person there in Cairns in 2021. Just in case you're not getting the CBAA emails, if you go to any page on our CBAA website, I'll just put this link to the CBAA awards page into the chat box there, just so you have the opportunity to have a look at it. At the bottom of any of our pages here, you say get updates. We just need your email address, your first name and your last name, and you can subscribe to the various mailing lists available from the CBAA. There's our general CBAA mailing list. You can also get on the AMRAP mailing lists as well. That's all there. Let's just have one last look at all of the different categories here. Once again, all this work needs to take place between the 1st of May 2020 and 30th of April 2021. If you've got a line ball call about those dates, give us a call at the CBAA on 0293102999. That's 0293102999, or email me, danny.chifley@cbaa.org.au. As you can see, the categories are divided up into awards for stations, awards for radio programs and initiatives, and awards for individuals or teams. With any luck, every aspect of the great broadcasting that you're doing there at the station will be covered by all of these categories here. Any questions about whether your initiative or whatever else you're doing there at your station fits into those categories, we can have those questions with you. We can have those conversations with you. If you've got one of those questions now, you can please put that forward. If you want that question to be anonymous, I can't answer it anonymously, but I don't have to say your name when you put forward that question. You can feel free to do that now. But with any luck, sort of everything that you're doing there on the ground at your station is covered by these awards. So, for instance, let's just handpick a couple here. The best station production. You might have created some really wonderful station IDs or community service announcements, and you want to let people know about them. Best station production is the place to go to for that one. Just in case you ran, thankfully, a lot of stations have been able to rally the support of their communities through these difficult times that we're all living through at the moment. You might be one of those stations where your community has heeded the call to come and get increase their engagement with the station. That could fit into the station fundraising campaign if it's been one where you've raised a lot of money for the station. If it's been one where you've seen a great increase in membership, you might want to put that in the excellence in community engagement category. Best special event broadcast, that can be basically anything that you've done that was sort of a one-off special thing. And it doesn't have to be sort of like an outside broadcast or anything like that. It can basically be anything sort of that you've run there at the station that you felt was a really good thing that you've done in the between the 1st of May 2020 and 30th of April 2021 that you want to acknowledge. The awards like the Tony Staley Award and the Michael Law Award, they're not very self-explanatory as to what they are. The Tony Staley Award is the award given to Station of the Year, basically. And how you would win that award would be if you had a banner 2020-2021 where you were able to sort of really go above and beyond with everything that you're doing there at your station. That'd be the Tony Staley Award. Tony Staley was, of course, instrumental in the development of the community broadcasting sector. People who've been to past CBAA conferences and award ceremonies might have been lucky enough to meet with Tony Staley. He's a great man, always made a great speech there as part of the award ceremony. That question there about prizes before, this award attracts a cash prize of $2,500 supported by our good friends at the CBF. There is other stuff there in regards to prizes that we will be able to make available closer to the date, but that is one that there for many years the CBAA have provided that support. The CBF rather have provided that support. The Michael Law Award is for the individual contribution to the community broadcasting sector in honour of Michael Law, who was the inaugural president of the PBAA, which is now known as the CBAA. They're recognised as an individual who's made a sustained and outstanding contribution to the community broadcasting sector as it stands there. Not bound by the current awards period, because generally that award will go to someone who's got years, if not decades, of service towards the community broadcasting sector. Any questions, please feel free to come to send them on in. Otherwise, I will keep on going through and just sort of cherry picking a few awards there and discussing them. That Best Station Production Award, say you did have something that was good, you might also want to enter that in Excellence in Creative Audio. There is a lot of crossover between these awards categories, and that's why we allow our entrants to enter into multiple categories. But the Excellence in Creative Audio, it might not just be for station IDs or CSAs or sponsorships or something like that. That might be a program, perhaps, where you put something together that's really exciting in regards to how you've used audio. You've created some really excellent theatre of the mind. That'd be your category there. Excellence in Digital Media is one of those categories that is very broad there in regards to sort of what you might be doing. Digital media is one of those things where, I mean, where does it begin and end? Digital media there for this award is defined as station created content using social media, digital broadcasting, website development, audio streaming, podcasting, blogging, digital video, or general digital media content. So that's a whole wide world that's available there as part of that award. That's stuff we'd love to see some really wonderful entries coming in there in regards to that. And of course, sort of talk programs are acknowledged, music programs are acknowledged several times. There's a general music category. There's 2 Australian music program categories there for Best Australian Music Radio Program and Best Australian Music Radio Initiative. Excellence in Music Presenting might be for a music-based program where you're conducting some really great interviews there with people who are coming onto the show. A few technical categories there, technical services and technical innovations, just sort of wanting to acknowledge the wonderful technologists in the sector. And you best believe you can talk about the CBAA and our good friends at Technorama for more info on that. Volunteer categories, youth categories, all that and more. Now, hopefully that has covered everything that is in there. Once again, I'll just go into the entrance guide just to go through everything and make sure that I haven't missed anything that's there. Once again, just wanted to let you know that we are happy to talk awards entries with you at any time that you may ask us about it. The awards have been open for 3 days now. They will be open until Sunday, 15th of August. We're looking at the key dates here, which is on page 2 of the awards guide. Finalists will be announced in October 2021. Depending on how the world goes, that date might have to be a little bit flexible. The winners will be announced at the CBAA conference in December 2021. As stated, if possible, keep the 2nd or the 4th of December free. We'll, with any luck, see you in Cairns. Look at those smiling people. Do you want to be one of those smiling people? Certainly hope so. And of course, there's all the information about all of the categories and the terms and conditions there. If you have any questions about the terms and conditions, you can let us know. I'll give people one last opportunity there if they want to sort of put forward any questions there via the chat box or the Q&A box. I'll just go onto the Facebook again and see if there's anything else there. Nope, I'm not seeing anything. Thank you so much, everyone, for taking the time today to join us as part of our CBAA webinar. I very much hope that I've answered all of your questions. The webinar platform is easy to use. Just a reminder again, if you need to leave and come back, it will save all of your work for you as long as you hit the save button that's at the bottom of each of the pages. Remember to sort of, you do need to fill in that first page there, the start here page, with all of the relevant information if you sort of want to get things saved. Just save and next, save and close. Be sure to keep your details for logging in on hand. And I very much look forward to seeing more and more of your entries here. On behalf of the Community Broadcasting Association of Australia, my name is Danny Shipley. Thank you so much for joining us. And we really do look forward to receiving your entries as part of the 2021 CBAA Community Radio Awards. Thanks so much for joining us. Bye now.